Hey, you guys, I just wanted to jump on real quick before we start this episode and just apologize up front for the sound quality. We are having to go back to recording on Zoom right now because, the virus is starting to spike again, and neither of us really feel comfortable being around anyone. And this is a very good episode to me. We had a lot of fun on this, and unfortunately, there are some blips because of Zoom and because of the delays back and forth. So please, I'm so sorry. Bear with us on the sound quality of this episode and hang in there. We're trying to figure out a way to have Corbin build some kind of plexiglass barrier between us where Ben could come over and we could scrub up like surgeons and maybe take shots of 151 and set ourselves on fire. Whatever we have to do to get a better sound quality for the listeners. Again, sorry in advance for this. I hope you guys understand and please enjoy this episode.
1, 2, 3.
Hello, welcome to Rock the Cash Bar. I'm Ben Mowbray.
And I'm Dianne Gallagher.
Every week we pick one song and do a deep dive into the lyrics and explain the different ways they've been interpreted.
We will also discuss how the song connected to us on a personal level, focusing on all the embarrassing details.
Glad to have you here. Enjoy the show. Son of a gun. Welcome to episode 21. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Episode 20. I'm doing good. Episode 21. Our podcast is old enough to drink.
Oh, congratulations. Cheers, Ben.
Cheers. Long distance cheers. We're still in a quarantine as the numbers get a hell of a lot worse out there. I hope everyone is being safe, wearing masks, washing your hands, not touching faces, and listening to the scientists.
Please, everybody, please do that.
Listen to the people wearing masks, not the people wearing tinfoil hats. Can we do that just one time? Can the glue that holds us together last for, the entire length of a pandemic? All right, I'm sorry. I don't mean to get all preachy. I don't mean to be weird. I'm sorry. We got to get this podcast in order or the suits are going to shut us off. The many financial interests that have a stake in this huge media empire. Episode 21. We're doing a triple episode, Diane. Are you ready for this?
I am really excited about this one.
It's going to be a fun one. Today we're going to do You're So Vain by Carly Simon. We're also going to do Oughta by Alanis Morissette. And we're going to talk about My Favorite Mistake by Sheryl Crow. And the connective tissue for all three of these songs is, Diane?
Who's the bad man?
Who hurt this lady?
Who hurt these ladies?
How dare they? Who is this? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm losing my mind. I'm sorry. I totally lost my train of thought. My brain is going quarantine soft. Like I can't hold thoughts in my head. I can't finish sentences. Like I have ideas for things to say. I'm just like, all right, I'll sort that out once I get 7 words in, and then it never happens.
We're having conversations with other fucking people.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like my circuits just don't connect the way that they used to. Like I don't know how I'm going to be put together again. I'm sorry, I don't mean to whine about it, but it is a little bit crazy. I just don't know what to do or what to think.
Well, let's talk about the pain of these ladies getting hurt by boys, Ben. Boys are...
I suppose it could be that I'm feeling a lot of guilt reading the lyrics to these 3 songs and going, I've kind of done that. I've done that. I could imagine somebody saying that about me. Like, I did this one, but not that one. I guess that means I'm okay, right? Am I okay? I feel like I'm coming up for air. It's like, oh, what have I done? What have I done?
That's why this episode is so fun for me. It's just like I get to join Carly Simon, Alanis Morissette, and Sheryl Crow and just talking some shit about some boys that hurt us. Diary entries, not saying a name, just like vague Facebook posts, which is basically what all 3 of these songs are.
This would be a hell of a status update.
Yeah. So
let's start with You're So Vain, I think, because You're So Vain is kind of the legendary song in this category, the legendary breakup kiss-off song.
Yep.
Carly Simon, of course, there's plenty of rumors about who You're So Vain would be. Would it be, before we go into the lyrics, should we like read off the list of suspects?
Sure. Yeah.
You're So Vain. Carly Simon had a vast cupboard of gentleman callers.
Before you start into that,
She's an attractive lady.
think she's hot? That's what I was going to ask you. Are her features too much for you, or are you into it?
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, the great big wide smile, the thick pouty lips. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. So her list of suspects for You're So Vain, of course, the oft-quoted Warren Beatty, but then there's some really unexpected guys on here as well. There's Chris Christopherson, Jack Nicholson, he kind of James Taylor. Obviously, she was married to James Taylor for a while. But then there's some weirder ones. David Geffen.
Yeah.
Not gay all the time, David Geffen.
At all.
Well, she's Carly Simon, you got to make some exceptions. I'm not gay, but who knows, like if the right person, I'm just saying, like, it's possible. I've had some dude crushes in my life. They're like, oh.
I was just about to say, I think Corbin's had some, like, I'm not gay, but there's not a Matthew McConaughey movie that he doesn't love. And he's made some bad movies.
You think Corbin might, if Matthew McConaughey asked nicely enough?
I think he might. Matthew McConaughey is a smooth talker. I think anybody might.
I don't know if I would do it for 60-year-old Michael Stipe, but when I was a young man, I would have done it for 35-year-old Michael Stipe.
Yep.
I think that's probably the only one on my list.
All right, before we embarrass ourselves too bad, let's keep going with Carly Simon.
Michael Crichton, Jurassic Park author, also on Carly Simon. Yeah.
I didn't read that.
Carly Simon, the notches in Carly Simon's bedposts are exciting, to say the least.
More power.
No kidding. Terrence Malick, the film director, director of Badlands, The Thin Red Line, The Tree of Life.
Okay.
Very thoughtful man. Cat Stevens. Sean Connery.
What?
Yeah.
Sean Connery and Warren Beatty?
Yeah, apparently so. Now, to be honest, she never actually slept with Sean Connery, but she and her sister were, before Carly Simon was famous as like a solo act, she was in an act with her sister called the Simon Sisters. And they were on a boat back from London to New York. And this is in the mid 60s. And Sean Connery happened to be on the boat, and he was already James Bond. He was already super famous. So these two super cute young singers send him a nice letter, like flirting with him and everything. Like, we should get together for drinks and everything like that. And she jokes, just like, we weren't inviting him over for a Simon sister sandwich.
Gross.
But exactly.
Sibling sex grosses me out.
Really, I know. It's like, it's okay. So yeah, it's incestuous gay sex to make James Bond happy. These are the things we put women through. So they get together and they're having cocktails in Sean Connery's stateroom and everything like that. And girls kind of turn him down, but they spend, because it takes a couple of days to make the voyage, but they're spending a couple of days together. And then on the last night, Carly Simon's sister sends Sean Connery a letter that's just basically like, okay, it's on. So she sneaks out of the room and goes and sleeps with Sean Connery, and it then just fills Carly Simon with rage. Like, you slept with James Bond and not me.
Oh, man. Have you seen Carly Simon's sister? What does she look like?
She looks like Carly Simon.
Gotcha. Okay.
But not quite Carly Simon. She's like Funhouse Mirror Carly Simon.
Well, that's the game you have to play when you're like second best to Carly Simon. You're like, I gotta sneak this one in because Carly's gonna get it. So you gotta in those moments.
You gotta be a little bit more direct. Like, come on, 007, try to get it in. Oh, and Jeremy Irons. She had a thing with young Jeremy Irons in the early 1970s.
Oh my God.
Would you like Jeremy Irons to read you a bedtime story, Diane?
Of course.
His trembling baritone.
Plus some.
You're So Vain, obviously a super famous kiss-off song. Carly,
missed a big one.
what's up?
Mick Jagger.
Oh, Mick Jagger, of course. Yeah, Mick Jagger does background vocals on this. And they joke a lot because Mick Jagger looks like Carly Simon. So apparently the two of them are just like Narcissus gazing into the reflecting pool, just like, oh, you look like me. I love me. Do you love me? Of course you love me. Can you love me as good as I love me?
The
That kind of
baby.
thing. Have you ever seen a couple that look almost exactly alike, that have similar bodies and similar faces and things, and just think, oh my God?
Yeah, a lot. I think a lot of people who look alike are attracted to each other. There's a lot of couples who I'm like, you guys are skirting brother, sister so hard right now.
I was having dinner with my sister once, and it was at a restaurant where I knew the chef. I'd worked with him, and he came out and was talking to us and doing like the restaurant hospitality thing. And my sister excused herself to the restroom, and I'd only introduced her by her name. So the chef was just like, "Hey, your date's really attractive." And I said, "That's my sister." And he goes, "Oh, I thought you were just really into women who looked exactly like you."
Okay, I'll tell. Wonderful. But it just reminded me, and it's kind of off topic, but same story. We were out to dinner for Mother's Day one time, and this is Corbin's favorite thing he has ever done to me. But the waiter came by and said, "Happy Mother's Day." And Corbin goes, "Oh, no, 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 that's my wife."
Evil. I love it.
Dick move so good that I died laughing. Because he makes fun of me for being older than him. I'm like a year and a half older than him. So it's an ongoing joke that I'm ancient. And it was so well timed and so well placed. Okay, sorry, we got to.
Let's write that one down for sure. Oh, Marvin Gaye. Apparently Marvin Gaye once came on to Carly Simon as well. I forget. Yeah. Apparently, it was I think it was Marvin Gaye that like as her star was on the rise, she met Marvin Gaye like in his dressing room or something like that, and he asked her to like stick out her tongue. Like I don't know why. We're just like stick out your tongue, and so Carly Simon stuck out her tongue, and he immediately just started like sucking on her tongue.
Oh God! Ooh.
Yeah, it'd be kind of a nightmare. Like, what is this?
You're not. You just got me too'd.
Oh, all of these are Me Too stories, for God's sake. Anyway, so everybody knows the lyrics to "You're So Vain," but we're going to go into them anyway.
Let's do it.
Do you want to read them? Could you read to me the lyrics to "You're So Vain," but could you do it like as if I'm the guy that Carly Simon is talking to? Like, could you get all actress about it? Get into the theater.
Getting character. So hold on. When reading this song, I never get the feeling that she's angry. She's just being fucking catty about it, you know? So I don't want to be angry. I just want to be kind of like, you fucking fuckhead.
Yeah. This one reads to me like sit down, we're having a discussion. It's almost like you send a text message like at lunchtime. It's like, okay, I'll be home. We'll talk about it at 6:30. And then you spend 6.5 hours preparing the argument.
I know, I might have to add some fucks in here where she didn't put them. Like, all right, you walked into the party like you were walking onto a fucking yacht, Ben. Your hat strategic below one eye. Your scarf, it was apricot. You had one eye on the mirror as you watched yourself gavotte. Is that how you say that? Gavotte?
Gavotte, yep.
And all the girls dream that they'd be your partner. They'd be your partner. You're so vain. You probably think this song is about you.
Do you know what?
Go ahead.
Did you read what gavotte is? I looked it up when I was looking at the lyrics to this one. A gavotte is like the Fred Astaire like top hat tip thing, like the great big like dancer presentation, tuxes and tails, like hello.
Arrived. Hello, everybody. Tip of the hat. Yes, you've all been waiting for me, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Time for things to get a little fabulous and scandalous, isn't it?
I bet you think this song is about you, don't you? Don't you?
That's my favorite lyric in this song, because anytime people start talking about "You're So Vain," they're just like, well, if the song really is about him, then doesn't that defeat the purpose? And it just drives me insane. You're like, no, it doesn't. The
Oh,
fact that he's vain enough to think that it is about him is the brilliance of the song. It doesn't untie the knot at all. It doesn't implode the structure of the building. Like it's the greatest indicator that this guy is the biggest asshole who ever walked the face of the planet.
it's wonderful. And we also know, and I think everybody hears the song is like, she might be talking about a bunch of different guys, but there's one in particular that knows it's about him, or at least
Mm-hmm.
knows it's about him. And she's like, you think it's all about you, don't you? I'm talking about a whole bunch of different dudes, but you think it's all about you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you had me several years ago when I was still quite naive. Well, you said we'd make such a pretty pair and that you would never leave. But you gave away the things you loved, and one of them was me. I had some dreams that were clouds in my coffee, clouds in my coffee. You're so vain. Again, you probably think this song is about you, don't you?
Don't you, don't you, don't you. Okay.
So the last line I really like, I'll just read this. Well, I hear you went up to Saratoga and your horse naturally won. Then you flew your Learjet up to Nova Scotia to see the total eclipse of the sun. Well, hold on. Well, you're where you should that when there's a well, you're where that kind of gets me tongue tied. Well, you're where you should be all the time. And when you're not, you're with some underworld spy or the wife of a close friend. Wife, close friend. You get my fucking point? You're so vain.
Traitorous bastard. Like, not only are you breaking somebody else's marriage vows, but you're betraying your nation.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Ooh, loathsome person. You're so vain. You probably think this song is about you. You're so vain. I'll bet you think this song is about you. Don't you? Don't you? Carly Simon's kind of a fun character. Like it's weird for me to talk about gender politics, but when I was reading about her life and the way that men treated her and the way that she was kind of used as this sexual bauble, this kind of token, like this prize. Like I was wondering, like, was that just like in terms of the long arc of progress that women have made, was it inevitable that there would be a period like the 1970s where women were sort of asked to like share their sexuality or use their sexuality or I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like I don't think Carly Simon would have slept with all of these men if it wasn't like put upon her like, hey, you want to be cool? You want to swing with us?
Oh,
You want to be accepted as part of the boys club? This is what you have to do.
yeah. I mean, it kind of feels like the same vein of oh, White Rabbit. What's her name?
Grace Slick, yeah. I think we talked about something similar then.
And but it was also still kind of a time of free love, so there's a little bit on her end, a little bit of pressure of taking the bait as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably a little bit of column A, column B.
Yeah, I don't hold any of it against her. Like there's I've of the people that I've slept with, I don't have any regrets. It's not like, oh, why did I ever do that? It's just like this is something that you do. Like you learn and you grow and you experience everybody. I
Right.
don't know if I'm kind of in a dark alley here, but anyway, here we are.
um so should we talk about some things that she said about this song?
Absolutely.
I want to read her memoir. I like that it's called Boys in the Trees.
Mm-hmm.
Great. It's a great title that really draws me in. I'm like, say what now? In her memoir, Boys in the Trees in 2015, Simon divulged that the second verse, You Had Me Several Years Ago When I Was Still Quite Naive, is about Warren Beatty. And
Yep.
other verses are about two different men, only two, who she would not.
Mm-hmm.
As for Beatty's reaction, Simon said, Warren thinks the whole thing is about him.
He actually called her apparently when the song came out to say thank you for writing that song about me. So whether it's all about him or not, he is definitely the guy who is vain enough to think that it is. and of course she uses it to troll the president every now and again,
Oh,
which makes everybody happy.
funny. One part that I thought was interesting is
You want to move on?
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, guys, there's a delay here. We're going to talk over each other.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. What were you about to say?
That she started recording this with Harry Nilsson singing backup, but Mick Jagger ended up singing on it. And like they were both in the studio and Harry could see it and he heard it and he just backed off. He's like, you know what, Mick is doing a way better job than this. I'm just not going to be a part of this, and just kind of gave it to Mick Jagger. So when you hear a man saying "Don't you" in the background, that's Mick Jagger, although he was never credited on the album, which is interesting.
Hmm. I'm sure he was prancing and preening and peacocking for Carly Simon as well.
Yeah.
I read something that said that he was like on a date with Carly Simon, and then he left her to go have an affair with Farrah Fawcett.
Whoa.
Like he was literally on a date with Carly Simon when a chance at Farrah Fawcett arose, and he took it.
So they didn't have texting back then. Did someone call the restaurant and then he has to get up from the table, go to the front desk and pick up the phone, and it's Farrah Fawcett literally saying, "You up?"
They're just like they're like in some hotel bar and he's like trying everything on with Carly Simon. He doesn't know if it's a sure thing, and then Farrah Fawcett just like jingles the keys from across the like, okay, I come get some hot, fresh, and guaranteed. That was gross. I'm sorry I said it.
All right, if you had to choose between Carly Simon and Farrah Fawcett, I mean, is that a no-brainer for you, or would you have a struggle?
Carly Simon.
Really?
I would go Carly Simon because I'm a little too young for peak Farrah Fawcett. Like I remember like the famous poster, but it was never hanging up on my wall. Like Farrah Fawcett was like when I think of Farrah Fawcett, I kind of drunken pill disaster Farrah Fawcett, not international sex symbol Farrah Fawcett.
I do the same thing.
And Carly Simon is still lovely even today.
I always felt that Farrah Fawcett looked a little bit rough. Like she had the best hair on the planet, but a little bit rough on the face. Just a slight bit, like she'd maybe drank too much or smoked too much, like a little bit.
Absolutely.
There's so many guys screaming at me right now, but I'm with you. I'm like, Farrah Fawcett wasn't as great as you guys think she is.
I also like Farrah Fawcett looks like a real party animal. Like she definitely looks like it's going to be 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Like Farrah, come on, for God's sake, put it down. We're done.
Yeah, I can't.
Day over. I got shit to do tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm grinding teeth to a nub. I cannot do this anymore.
Yeah, I think bottom line, I think Farrah Fawcett would wear me out, but I think Carly Simon and I would have some pillow talk.
Yeah.
We're gonna be doing, I think, a lot of like would you rathers and a lot of like fuck Mary kills. I think as this as this goes on.
We might have to do one at the end of this with these three ladies. Don't forget that. Did you know that the origin of the song, just the melody of it, was a song called "Bless You Ben"? Did you read that?
I did not know that.
In a 2000 interview with Charlie Rose, Simon explained the origin of the song. There was originally a song that had the melody of What Is Now You're So Vain called Bless You Ben. It went, bless you Ben, you came in where nobody else left off. And so that was I'll just read it. It never went anywhere. I couldn't follow up with it. And then I was at a party and someone walked in and my friend said to me, doesn't he look like he just walked onto a yacht? So I thought to myself, let me write that in my notebook. And then one day I was playing Bless You Ben on the piano and I substituted, you walked into the party like you were walking onto a yacht, and the exchange was equal and it felt natural and it felt good. And it went from there.
It's just a perfect insult line. Like I love that opening line, like for the opening of a song or the opening of like a long series of put downs, but just sitting down with somebody, just like you walked into the party like you were walking onto a yacht. Like it, I could like you'd see like Elaine Bennis from Seinfeld like saying that. Just like giving it to Putty. Your hat strategically dipped below one eye and your scarf it was apricot. It's just a dramatic takedown. A dramatic takedown. Did you know she was rich?
Like before she became?
Yeah. Her father is Richard Simon, who is one half of the publishing empire Simon and Schuster.
Ooh, good info. Got it.
she's crazy connected to the like the New York arts world, because obviously like getting Richard Simon's attention would be a hell of a thing. But she was also like geared from a really young age. Her mother uh, put her on birth control when she was in her very early teens, because her mother had quite a life as well.
Wow.
Her mother's name is Andrea, and Andrea was in love with an American football star. And that football star, who I could never find the name of, was also in love with Andrea's mother. So Carly Simon's grandmother and mother were in a menage a trois for 4 years.
Oh my God. See, if you go onto Pornhub right now, it's all you see on there. Families.
Yeah, no, just don't do it. Just don't do it. It's gross.
Oh God. But okay. All right. All right. So trading back and forth with mom.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not Carly, but mom and okay. And so the mom was like, just in case I see a hot guy that wants to bang my teenage daughter, Carly, I'm going to put her on some birth control.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's kind of that's the sort of thing that was swirling kind of all around her from a very, very early age.
All right. I wonder how you.
Carly Simon's a damaged little bird, and that's why when she writes a song like "You're So Vain," there's so like we didn't have a word like social justice warrior in the 1970s, but there's a whole group of male fans of Carly Simon that just absolutely used to her defense because of songs like "You're So Vain." It's like, you fucking assholes were so mean to that gorgeous woman.
Yeah. If it was happening now, everybody would say she clapped back.
Exactly. Yeah. I think, like, honestly, I think if my dad ever gets, like to the point where he's just like, I've accomplished everything that I want to do in this life, everybody's taken care of, it's time for me to go. His last act on this earth will be the murder of Warren Beatty. I'm certain of it.
Oh, he holds a
He's a
curtain.
he's a huge big Carly Simon fan. My sister's named Carly. That's big after Carly Simon.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I just burped. Sorry.
Yeah, I think my dad would love to beat Warren Beatty to death with his own shoes. I guarantee it.
What's the Warren Beatty? I'm asking. My husband put it on literally last night because my son's really into bad guys, and so this movie he did with Madonna and the
Dick Tracy.
Tracy.
Yeah.
Corbin put that on last night because it's super colorful. It's got crazy characters. It's got the best bad guys. Thinking my son would be into it, but he
Al Pacino chewing on the scenery.
yeah, it's really great.
Did he like it?
I think he couldn't take his focus off of Minecraft because he just learned a new thing in Minecraft. But I think if we get him in a like, okay, I'm off of that, I can focus. I think he'd really like it.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, he's 6 years old. Are you ready to introduce Charlie to Madonna and Breathless Mahoney?
Maybe I should rethink this.
I could sweat it out of you under the lights. I sweat better in the dark. Classic Madonna. Did I ever tell you about my dad went to a charity dinner with George Clooney once? Did I ever tell you that story?
Absolutely not.
This is one of my favorite stories. So my brother, I think it was my parents' wedding anniversary or something years ago, my older brother bought them like 500 plate tickets to like some fundraiser that George Clooney was doing downtown, right? And he's going to have he's doing his like Clooney charity, like I don't know what it was then, global warming or Darfur or who knows what Clooney was interested in, but he's raising money for his Clooney charity. So dad thinks, well, mom's going to want to go because she loves George Clooney. And we get the added bonus of torturing dad. Like dad has to go listen to George Clooney's bullshit. So my brother buys him these tickets and gives it to him for their anniversary. So dad's all signed up for it. Before they went, I went over to mom and dad's house, and dad, for whatever reason, is in like his he never wears a suit, but he's in like Sunday best, tie and everything like that, and wants me to take a picture of him. Like, this is really weird. What's going on? So I take a picture of my dad. And he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it later." And then so the night of the charity event comes, and there's a receiving line afterwards. Like after you have Clooney's guest spot show, you get to go shake his hand and tell him what a wonderful guy he is. So my dad walks up and he shakes George Clooney's hand, and out of his breast pocket he pulls a picture of himself dressed to the nine in the suits, and he hands it to George Clooney, and he just says, I thought your girl might want a picture of me. Slaps him on the shoulder and walks away.
Well,
I just thought your girl might like a picture of me.
from what I understand about Clooney is he's a real good sport, and he probably laughed really hard at that. Yeah.
He probably did. I don't know. Like, I know my dad. Dad was just too busy gliding away. Like, there's no reason to give him a response.
Oh.
You don't want to do that. Don't give him a chance. You scored on him. Skate away.
That's really great. Go, Mowbray. Have you heard the Marilyn Manson cover of this song?
No.
Okay, so one of the more unusual covers of this song is from Manson's 2012 version, which features Johnny Depp on drums and lead guitar. According to Manson, Depp called him and asked if he would like to record a song, and they jammed together at Depp's studio and came up with the idea to cover this song because they both thought it would be really ironic. Everybody has to go listen to it. It's wonderful. I think all of Manson's covers are fucking great, and this one is just as good as the rest.
How many women in Hollywood do you think are just like rolling their eyes so hard when that song came out? Like, oh, Marilyn Manson and Johnny Depp doing You're So Vain. Like, oh, you two.
That was their point. It would be ironic. It's really good though. Like Manson's cover of Tainted Love is so good. I almost like it better than Soft Cells.
That's one of the, we need to make a list of songs that we just never need to listen to ever again. And
Oh,
I think Tainted Love might be at the top of that.
yeah.
There's just no human needs to experience that. But done with it. Shall we move on from Carly Simon and on to the next wronged lady?
2 other songs to cover. This is going to be a 3-hour podcast if we don't speed this up. All right.
Can I tell you a story real quick before we get into it?
Sure.
To make it even longer,
Yeah.
there's a guy named, and it's like a legend that's kind of like ingrained in people like me, but there was a guy named Mike Peluso who was born in a small town in Minnesota. Mike liked to play hockey and he was good at it. He was really, really good at it. He was so good at it that he got drafted into the NHL when he was 18 or 19 years old, but he knew he wasn't that good at it. So instead of going into the NHL, he took a scholarship to the University of Alaska, where he played for 4 years until he finally broke into the NHL with the Chicago Blackhawks, if I remember right. He was good, but not real good, but he was also big and pretty tough. So they decided that, hey, if you want to play on this team, you're going to have to be our fighter. So he started going through like the NHL enforcer motions where he's fighting anybody who will have him. He's getting his teeth kicked in night after night. He's getting his brains lit up. His first game in the NHL, he fights noted tough guy Basil McRae. I love that name.
That's a great name. That sounds fake.
Basil McRae was big and mean. He beat the living shit out of Mike. But Mike was gradually making a name for himself. He put up good fights, and he did it night after night. He was the first and the last guy to get third penalty minutes in the NHL. Anyway, one night he's fighting Tony Twist, who's a legendary tough guy, and Tony Twist cracks Mike right across the skull and knocks him down to the ice and concusses him. So now he's going through concussion protocol and all that stuff. He's getting dementia. He is slurring his words. He gets dizzy spells. He's forgetting things, but he's still going out and fighting night after night after night. The medical staff for the teams that he's playing on are telling him, like, you can't do this anymore. They're writing internal memos saying, we can't put this guy out on the ice. But there's like, no, he's got to keep going. He's got to keep doing it. So night after night he does it. And now he's gradually, his brain is basically turned into tundra from a lifetime of blunt force trauma to his skull. Mike Peluso had a brief relationship when he played for the Ottawa Senators with a young singer-songwriter named Alanis Morissette.
Yes.
And it's possible that Mike Peluso is the subject of You Oughta Know.
Wow.
Does it make you feel any better to know that the guy behind You Oughta Know might have had his brain hammered into hot fudge?
Well, yeah, and I feel like Alanis, like, he's brain damaged, cut him a fucking break.
I didn't do it to make anybody like feel sympathy for this guy. just a straight, like, how satisfying would that be? It's like, oh, I hope that fucking guy is getting his comeuppance. Well, he did, night after night, in front of 20,000 screaming fans.
He was punch drunk, man. Give him a break.
You Oughta Know is another like big like sit down at the kitchen table, come to Jesus kind of song. It's just like, I want you to know.
The great bait and twist at the beginning. First two lines. All right, we can have this conversation. Then God.
I want you to know that I'm happy for you, and I wish nothing but the best for you both.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. An older version of me?
Shit.
Is she perverted like me? Would she go down on you in a theater? Does she speak eloquently? Would she have your baby? I'm sure she'd make a really excellent mother.
So Ben, let me ask you.
Mm-hmm.
You ever have a sweet young lady go down on you in a theater?
No. No, I'm too much. No, I'm too shy. I'm too much of an Englishman for that kind of thing.
Okay.
No, in public, not a thing I'm into. That's a private. It takes place behind closed doors and always behind closed doors.
Okay.
I'm just not that doesn't thrill me. Like I couldn't imagine it. Like sometimes like you see in movies like in front of an open window or in a park or something like that. I'm just like, that's not something that I would like to do.
Yeah. No, me either. It was 1995 and it was The Lion King, but that's all I'm going to say about that. And we're going to move on.
Wait a second.
No. Because the laugh that you gave that we made wasn't able to.
Wait a second. What was it about The Lion King?
Yeah, I don't know. Wait, that's the movie he took me to. There were children there. I don't know what.
Well, you were a child there. Well, wait, you were what, 16, 17 in 95?
I was about 17. My mom listens to this. Let's move along.
All right. I won't press you on it.
Okay.
Because the love that you gave that we made wasn't able to make it enough for you to be open wide. No.
Oh.
And every time you speak her name, does she know how you told me you'd hold me until you died? Till you die? But you're still alive.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where she really starts roaring.
This hurts. Like, this is hurting me. Like, if I've never been in a relationship where a guy told me he would hold me until he died, I mean, I would have fallen for that and being like, we're getting fucking married. This is forever. And then apparently this guy did not mean this.
Yep. That's a broken promise. That's a lie. How old were you when was it right after The Lion King? Like, how old were you when you realized that men will certainly lie in order to get the things they want from you?
Then I got really lucky, and like Lion King guy was like a 2-week date. That makes me sound like a 17-year-old whore. Anyway, right after that, I started dating my first boyfriend that went 5 years. And then the guy after that was 5 years. And then I met Corbin. So I had a string of guys that were really into me. So
yeah.
That would have broken my fucking heart because I would have believed him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole lot of lies.
Yeah. Well, I think you ought to count yourself very lucky. You've comported yourself like a lady.
Yeah.
Or you were just extremely lucky.
Yeah, when I dig my claws in real fucking hard when I get into a relationship.
Where do you think you're going? I've thrown the net around you. You're staying right here till you die.
Yeah, till you die. I've said that to them, and then I broke up with them. So you know what? This song might be about me too, Ben. I might be in the same place as you.
Till you die, but you're still alive, and I'm here to remind you of the mess you left when you went away. It's not fair to deny me of the cross-eyed bear that you gave to me. You oughta know. This song came out in, yeah.
The song came out.
It came out in 1995, if I remember right. Mm-hmm. And I remember watching like a comic on Comedy Central, which may have been called the Ha Network at that time. I can't remember. But it was like bad mid-90s stand-up, and he obviously was talking about this song, and he comes to that line, and I'm here to remind you, and his big joke was just like, oh, as if this guy needs a reminder. Like, do you think he forgot? I only bring that up because like when this song came out, it was everywhere. It was like the biggest hit of that summer. It was absolutely inescapable. I was a 15-year-old boy So not really all that interested in the thoughts and feelings of the women around me. Like, I thought this was just like shrill, you know. I thought this is the first, like, I had those like negative male reactions, like, oh, who cares, you know, what this woman thinks, or how broken her heart is. Why does she have to scream at us about it? It didn't occur to me that like the radio is full of dudes screaming about women.
Right.
Like here's the one song about a woman screaming about a man, and I couldn't deal with it. I absolutely couldn't.
I think it's her shrill voice that makes her look unhinged. She doesn't seem just like angry. She just seems like she's screeching about it, you know?
Yeah, but I couldn't give her credit for like being in that moment. Like, I couldn't give, like, okay, this is a 3-minute song about an extreme emotion that you experience at an extreme point in your life. I just assumed that Alanis Morissette has to be just off the rails all the damn time.
She seemed
She's
like
a screaming banshee.
the drunk girl on the streets on Bourbon Street. Like, ah, yeah, fuck it, this is, you gave me this and you fuck my friend. Yeah, it just seems unhinged.
Yeah, I couldn't look at it as a snapshot. I had to take it as like, oh no, this is the whole thing. This is the whole soul laid bare. And I go, you seem very well.
How she called
Things look, yeah. Give me, center myself.
you seem
You seem very well. Things look peaceful.
peaceful.
I'm not quite as well. I thought you should know.
Here
Did you forget about me, Mr. Duplicity? I hate to bug you in the middle of dinner. Apparently that's the real sticking line. Like, everybody knows that like this song is supposed, like, there's a whole list of guys that it could be written about, but everybody focuses in on her ex-boyfriend Dave Coulier,
Yes.
Uncle Joey from Full House. And apparently that line is the one that really tipped him off, that he really was that guy.
Oh, that
Alanis had told him, yeah. Apparently Alanis Morissette called him while he was having dinner with Bob Saget, and he said, "Oh, I got to let you go. I'm having dinner with Bob." And then she said, "Well, I hate to bug you in the middle of dinner," as he was hanging up. And apparently, when he hung up the phone, he was like, "Bob, I think I might be in serious trouble here."
I always laughed really hard when I heard this line, because I think of him, the guy, like in the middle of dinner with another woman, and her like popping into the window, like hanging in where her belly's hanging over the ledge, and she's just screaming like, "I hate to bug you in the middle of dinner," like a psychopath.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really like this song. I'm surprised Michael Douglas isn't like one of the list of suspects on this thing, because this is totally a thing. This is like Fatal Attraction. This is absolutely a Michael Douglas movie. It was a slap in the face how quickly I was replaced. And are you thinking of me when you
Bloop.
fucker? Do you like? I don't. I've talked to a lot of people who are like friends who have gone through breakups that I've gone through myself, and they talk about the length of time that it takes their significant other, the person that they broke up with, to be with somebody else. Have you ever taken offense at that? I don't think I ever have.
Wait, what part am I taking offense at?
Well, she says it was a slap in the face how quickly I was replaced. Have you ever broken up with somebody and one of them like, you better spend 6 weeks crying?
Oh, it's never happened to me. I've never. God, I sound like such a fucking narcissist. The guys, my two exes spent a long time alone before they started dating someone else.
You ruined them.
I didn't, but I can imagine the feeling. Yeah, but you can't ask a guy who leaves you for some new strange, "Are you thinking of me when you fuck her?" Because he's like, no.
Absolutely not.
Thinking about the new thing.
I'm thinking about her. I could see like being hurt or offended that like those romantic feelings that you have, like they're like, I could see myself thinking something like, hey, those feelings are for me, and you can't just transpose them. You can't change them. Like, you've got to, like, there's got to be a break. Otherwise, yeah. Like, I guess I could see that. Like, there's no other way that I work. Like, it takes me a long time to get over heartbreaks. Like, a long, long time.
That's why you're a sensitive guy, and you're not like a lot of guys who compartmentalize sex and love, who I think a lot of guys can just the next day just go have pointless, careless, unemotional sex with another girl. Yeah.
Right.
The guys have that capability. And you know, I shouldn't be sexist. I think there are some girls out there that can do it too, but usually it's more so men.
Yeah. I can do that. I'm I can, I don't mean to be too like I can do it,
Yeah.
but it doesn't, but it doesn't like if I have, when I have romantic feelings, those romantic feelings belong to a specific person and they don't transpose. Like I would be the opposite of this. Like Alanis Morissette couldn't write this song about me because like maybe I'd be having sex with somebody else, but yeah, I would be thinking about her, or I would be, I would be feeling bad. I'd be doing more damage to the person I'd moved on with
Uh,
than I'd done to Alanis, because I'd be, I'd be emotionally closed off. I
right.
would be that stunted guy. I don't know. Burp.
Burp.
And every time you speak her name, does she know how you told me you'd hold me until you died? Till you died, well, you're still alive. Because the joke that you laid in that bed, that was me. And I'm not going to fade as soon as you close your eyes, and you know it.
Know it.
Yeah. That one, I had never really kind of looked at that line until I started like researching that one. And that one that's a really impactful, slit your throat kind of line.
So explain it.
Because the joke that you laid in that bed, so it's just like she's looking at it, just like, okay, this was all just a joke to you. Like you lied. Like you said you'd hold me until you died. That was absolutely, I was that joke, and I'm not going to fade as soon as you close your eyes. So she's like, she's imagining her ex-lover either in bed with somebody else or in bed by himself, and trying to have that peaceful moment where he's closing his eyes and forgetting about it. And she's telling me like, no, you're not going to forget about this, and you know it. Like, you know what it. Like you can hurt somebody accidentally. Like you can hurt somebody because you're immature. You can hurt somebody because you've made poor decisions. You can hurt somebody because you've misunderestimated their emotions and your emotions, and you won't realize it until later.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily later when she comes back screaming at you, bugging you in the middle of dinner, but it will eventually. You'll turn around and just go, I wasn't grown up enough to handle the emotions that I was talking about. Like I tried to explain these emotions to this lady before I even understood them.
Right. It's something I wish I could get into a megaphone to all like teenagers through like, I don't know, 27 at this point, people's ears is like, you're being so hard on each other for your immaturity. You guys are not immature enough to navigate these emotions, and you're being so hard on each other. Like, lighten up a little bit because your children figuring this out right now.
Absolutely. You don't know. You don't know. The list of suspects for You Oughta Know are, of course, Dave Coulier, Mike Peluso, Matt LeBlanc, Joey from Friends.
Oh, I didn't know that. Hold on. We skipped the one last line that I thought was really good. And every time I scratch my nails down someone else's back, I hope you feel it. That was just a fun line.
Yeah. And aggressive. It's like who would, we'll get to it. That's You Oughta Know. On to Sheryl.
Well, was there any, I do have something I want to say about You Oughta Know. That was really funny. A couple things. First of all, we talked about Dave Coulier, and he said he first heard the song when he was driving, and he's like, wow, this girl sounds angry. And then he listened more and he goes, oh man, I think that's Alanis.
Oh no.
I listened to the song
What have I done?
and I said, I think I have really hurt this person. And I tried to contact her, and I finally got a hold of her. And at the time, the press was already calling and saying, do you want to comment on this song? And I told her, I said, hi, what do you want me to say? And she said, you can say whatever you want. And then they saw each other and hung out for the entire day. And it was beautiful. And it was one of those things where it was kind of like, we're cool. So that's a nice personal story to hear about it, where he's like, I know this is about me. I'm so sorry. I'll say anything you want me to say about it.
It's got, he probably pats himself on the back a little bit, too. It's just like I broke her heart so badly that she made $100 million off of it.
Right.
Like he kind of has the get out of jail free card there. Like, hey, you got a career out of this. It's all right.
All right. I helped you a little bit. Another thing that I really liked is the lyrics from, and this is something I think you and I will both relate to. The lyrics from this came from a journal entry. She told Spotify, when I hear that song, I hear the anger as a protection around the searing vulnerability. I was mortified and devastated. It was a lot easier for me to be angry and feel the power from the anger versus the broken, horrified woman on the floor. And like, I could totally see the lyrics of this in a diary. Like, this looked like my diaries. I told you, the diaries that I burned were all about boys with like large, messy words with lots of exclamation points, like that cut into the paper.
Yeah.
Go.
It's also it's a great example of how like anger is a defense mechanism, like how anger defends the squishier emotions. Like she's not going to get like she's basically she has to take on this angry persona to defend the woman who's crying on the floor.
Well, this is what she said. She said, I didn't know at the time. She's trying to put it in perspective. She's like, when I wrote this, I did not know that this many people were going to hear the song. I didn't think the whole planet would be hearing it. I was writing it so that I would not get sick. I was writing it to get it out of my body the same way I would speak to a therapist or my best friend. If I didn't speak about it, I would have gotten sick, which that is something I think you and I and all artists and writers and creative types fully understand. Like, if we don't get this out of us in some art form, whether it be screaming on a stage with a microphone or writing vigorously in our journals, like you physically get sick. And so
Yeah.
she wrote the song not knowing that the whole world was going to sing it with her, you know?
Yeah. Like if I don't turn the feeling into substance, then I'm going to have to live with the feeling for the rest of my life. Like you have to, what's the word? You have to transmogrify the emotion.
Yeah.
Transmogrify. That's the word. Thank you.
Well, I'll say one last thing about it, unless you have more, but I did not know till I did research on this that Dave Navarro played guitar on this and Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers played bass. Didn't know that.
Yeah. I did know that. That was that was kind of like a strike that was going around against Alanis Morissette back in the day. Was that people were accusing her because like the hooks on that whole album are so tight and everything. I think it's produced by. I should have looked it up. I didn't. I think it's like Butch Vig or somebody like that from who produced Nirvana and also Shirley Manson's band Garbage.
Okay.
I believe he was the producer on that, or somebody very much like him.
Okay.
So the big knock against her by the male-dominated music industry was that all of these incredibly talented male musicians had coalesced around this female artist and then given her all the tricks and all the bells and whistles that made the album as great as it was.
Right.
Which I'm sorry to say is something that 15 or 16-year-old me believed in, and hopefully now 40-year-old me knows. No, I think Alanis Morissette knows a little bit about songwriting.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead and give her some credit.
Yeah.
You awful, awful man.
And who cares? We're all trying to put out a good product here. I just hope she got paid correctly for it.
My Favorite Mistake by Sheryl Crow.
I love this song. I've had some.
I love this song. I love it too. You want me to read it? Do you want to read it?
Do you want to do a back and forth on this? I don't know.
Sure. Kick it off.
Okay. I woke up and called this morning. The tone of your voice was a warning that you don't care for me anymore. I made up the bed we sleep in. I looked at the
morning phone call.
Yeah. I looked at the clock when you creep in at 6 a.m. and I'm alone. Go ahead.
That's obviously a bad situation. I think anytime that you wake up and you wake up in an emotional state and you're calling someone who's not there at 6 o'clock in the morning, like it's weird. Just like from those first three lines, you get the like obviously. I made up the bed that we sleep in, so obviously they live together. I look at the clock when you creep in, it's 6 a.m. and I'm alone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 6 a.m. and he's not back. He's obviously off cheating on her or God knows what.
And then that phone call where you hear that tone of the voice on the other end and you're like, they're not at all sorry. Like that is crushing.
Yeah. And are also like, are you hoping that like, I mean, you assume that he's with somebody else, but there's got to be mine and hoping he's drunk in a ditch somewhere. I hope he doesn't answer the phone and I find out he got arrested.
Yeah.
I hope he's in a wreck. Anything other than being with anybody else.
And that's when the psycho girlfriend kicks in and you start, back in the day of pagers, you would blow up their pager. Now you blow up their cell phone. And we could say it's because I didn't know if you were alive, but in the background, we're just like, I want to fucking know where you are. You know,
yeah.
That's the truth.
Where the hell are you?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the ultimate sign of a trusting relationship is, do you leave your cell phone face up on the bar or the table?
Oh, it's a good one.
That's it. I say, like, as my phone is actually inside a wallet, it's covered up at all times.
Mine's in a safe that has a thumbprint unlock on it.
Did you know when you go, it's the perfect ending to the bad day I was just beginning. When you go, all I know is you're my favorite mistake.
Oh,
This song is kind of two things to it works in two like it's a long-term couple where the guy is cheating, but then comes around to the chorus, it definitely sounds like a woman who like this is a lover that she likes his presence, or physically she likes the way he does it.
yeah.
Like she enjoys the brief time that they get to spend together. She kind of wishes that they could have more, but she also, as soon as he's gone, she immediately regrets it.
Yeah, she knows this isn't forever and she cannot control this one and she's not ready to just break it off. She's going to ride it out until she's just heard it that she has to leave, but she's like, God, I just really enjoy it when I am with you.
Hmm. I enjoy your energy.
Mm-hmm.
Your friends are sorry for me. They watch you pretend to adore me, but I'm no fool to this game. Now here comes your secret lover. She'd be unlike any other until you until your guilt goes up in flames. That one kind of works both ways too. Like your friends are sorry for me. They want you to pretend to adore me, but here comes secret. Read that where she's referring to herself as your secret lover. I don't think that's the way she intends it, but if you want to stretch it a little bit, I suppose you could.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Because it certainly sounds like she's the one who's being kept in the secret box at times in this song. Like,
Yeah.
did you know when you go, it's the perfect ending to the bad day I'd gotten used to spending. When you go, all I know is you're my favorite mistake. You're my favorite mistake. Well, maybe nothing lasts forever, even when you stay together. I don't need after. It's your laughter that won't let me go. So I'm holding on this way. Did you know? Could you tell you were the only one that I ever loved? Now everything's, oh, I can't even read my own writing. Now
No.
everything's gone away. Like, hmm? Oh, now everything's gone wrong. I'm sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
This one is obviously like the saddest and the sweetest. Like it doesn't have the anger of you ought to know. It doesn't have the structured takedown of you're so vain, but nevertheless, it's got a hell of a lot of poignancy to it. You're my favorite mistake. You're my favorite mistake. Did you see me walking by? Did it ever make you cry?
Yeah.
Would it make you feel better? Like if you've been hurt by somebody, does it make you feel better to know that they're hurting on the same level or on any level?
Absolutely. I
It
need
does.
it's equal hurt. If I'm hurt, yes, it would make me bad. If I'm hurt and it's ending and they're hurt and it's ending, but we both know it's ending, at least I want to know we both are hurt walking away from each other. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. I don't think because I don't want to think about the damage that I may have done. I don't, or the damage that I know that I've done. Like I don't want to. I prefer I prefer my ex lovers to be happy. Like I want them to live happy lives. I wouldn't want
Well,
them
eventually,
to be sad. I wouldn't.
eventually, in the time of the breakup, what I'm saying is like if I'm walking away hurt and they're walking away like yay, that hurts more.
Yeah,
I
that's the adage that they say though, right? Like they say that a guy will be like for the first month after a breakup, the guy will be like super happy, and the woman will be miserable. But then in the second month, the guy is miserable and the woman has put her life back together.
oh,
It's just because it's
that,
just the different ways that men work, or the different ways that men and women work.
um, yeah, this song it's really sweet and sad, especially the line where she's like, "You're the only one that I've ever loved." I'm like, "Oh, ow, you didn't have your first love wasn't a completely requited love. You were in love with someone who didn't love you back. That hurts."
Hmm. Have a list of suspects for this song.
Uh,
Do you want to hear them?
yeah, I have mine. We'll see if we have all the same ones.
The list of suspects for my favorite mistake include Kid Rock, Lance Armstrong, Jacob Dylan, Owen Wilson, and slow hand himself, Eric Clapton.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Hmm. Clapton seems to be the one that people settle on. They say that because they had apparently they did a couple of duets together. He sang on a couple of albums and performed with her in Central Park. So it seems to be settling on Eric Clapton.
Right. And so Sheryl Crow has said that it's definitely not about Clapton. How she said, I cannot look at that relationship as a mistake. I, after finding out that she dated Chris Rock, I hear this song as a song about Chris Rock, and it makes me like, oh, Sheryl.
Kid Rock though, Chris Rock and Sheryl Crow together would be awesome.
Did I?
But this, yeah.
Awesome. So her Kid Rock, we've talked about this before. It's a guilty pleasure song of mine, but her and Kid Rock did a duet together, and it's fucking great. And when I think about her waking up in the morning and the guy didn't come home, I'm like, that is 1,000% Kid Rock. And that song they do together is about that. It's about a guy who's like just getting drunk in hotels and not coming home, where I'm just like, if you listen to this song and then go listen to the duet that her and Kid Rock do together, it sounds like a direct conversation between these two songs.
Yeah. I hate that I do this because obviously it's wrong and evil dude, but like I do kind of hold it against. Like I love Sheryl Crow. I hold it against her that she dated Kid Rock. I really, what were you thinking? Come on, lady.
Unless this guy has some crazy magnetic energy in person that does not come across to the rest of us, I don't get it. Like Pam Anderson dated him, like engaged to him, I think. I don't know. I
I
don't.
think they were married.
Were they married? Oh fuck. I don't
I think so. Yeah.
Ooh,
Did you hear this? Did you hear the story that apparently it was Borat that broke up Kid Rock and Pamela Anderson?
Brat? Who is Brat?
Borat.
Oh, him.
Apparently he was, because the scene at the end of Borat where Borat finally abducts Pamela Anderson, as good as it looks in the movie, it was a put on. Like Pam Anderson was paid to be in the movie and she knew exactly what was going to happen, and it was a public event, but she knew that it was coming. She knew that Borat was going to ask her for her autograph and then try to stuff her in a sack and drag her out, and whatever happened after that was just going to be fun for the movie. I guess she told Kid Rock about it, that she was going to be doing this kind of like avant-garde theater of the mind, weird comedy presentation. He wasn't for it, but she did it anyway. And then when the movie came out, he saw what it was, that she's literally in a public place signing autographs like she does, where she's Pam Anderson, so she's in public. She's going to need security because she's in danger. And Kid Rock saw this as like baiting her fans to come and try. Like he thought that people were going to be trying to throw her in canvas sacks for the whole rest of her life. And apparently he just absolutely lost his shit over it.
Come on, kid. Do you not know what comedy is? Give me a break.
I could see that. I mean, that's not, I don't like Kid Rock, but I can kind of understand, like, all right, there's a need to protect there.
Dude, Sacha Baron Cohen can throw me in a sack. I am 100% into him. Okay.
So which one of these three songs would you most like to have written about you?
Favorite mistake. It's got,
Yeah.
because it's sweeter. I'm not hated, The person loved me. I was too immature for the relationship, but they loved me and they still think of me fondly, even though I fucked it up royally. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How
Among all of the men that we've listed, and I hate to do this to you, well, I don't hate to do it to you, I'm kind of enjoying it. But among all the men that we've listed, just kind of off the top, so Armstrong, Jacob Dylan, Owen.
Okay.
Pick the most impressive among them.
Okay, you broke up really bad on my end, but I know all the guys that you were listing, and I think the list is all the guys that you were listing. I just being surface level and not knowing any of these guys personally, just going on looks, I'm 100% Jacob Dylan.
Yeah, I can see that.
He's hot.
He's got his bright, mysterious blue eyes. There's also the chance that there'll be some like intergenerational genius.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we can make these beautiful dark hair, blue eyes babies together. That's going to be a brilliant songwriter. Yeah, Jacob Dylan.
And he can probably, like, I know it's totally crass, but he does have the best online possible. Like to have Bob Dylan's grandson. Okay. I can see that one. All right, well, we have to do We got to play the obvious one. So if it's like if we agree with the internet rumors and sort of the agreed upon wisdom, my favorite mistake is about Eric Clapton. You're So Vain is about Warren Beatty, and You Oughta Know is about Dave Coulier. So Dianne, fuck, marry, kill. Dave Coulier, Eric Clapton, Warren Beatty.
Okay, I'm easily gonna fuck Warren Beatty back then. We're talking about these guys at their prime. Fuck Warren Beatty.
Yeah.
God, I guess kill Dave Coulier because I don't really care about him, and marry Eric Clapton.
I do it a little bit differently. I would fuck Warren Beatty just to see what all the fuss is about. Because apparently he's incredible.
Yeah.
Carly Simon said he was a lover on another level. Apparently there's one apocryphal story where Warren Beatty sleeps with Carly Simon in New York one night. He comes over to her apartment after midnight and spends the night with her. And then Carly Simon goes to her therapist the next morning and says, something like, I slept with Warren Beatty last night. He kept me up all night. He's the greatest lover I've ever had, or something. And the therapist like stiffens up, and Carly Simon was like, well, what's the problem? And the therapist said, look, you're not the first patient of the day to claim that they slept with Warren Beatty last night.
Oh, no.
So apparently, like, Beatty was with some other woman until midnight, and then just left and went over to Sheryl Crow's place, or Sheryl Crow, over to Carly Simon's house. And this is her therapist telling her that.
Well,
So Warren Beatty is kind of a cad. I say, go, Dad.
it's dirty.
Warren Beatty is going to be beaten to death with a hockey stick.
Makes me feel I gotta double down now. I'm going more.
You just like see like I don't know what like if maybe her therapist was a man and he's just like telling her, he's like, okay, I'm gonna have to tell you some dirty secrets.
You might need to go to
Looks like Warren Beatty brought you the second nut. Now, do I need to explain it further, or do you get what I'm talking about? I'm sorry, Dianne. That was locker room talk.
Condom. Did you wear a condom? Because who knows if he had time to shower in between.
I'm going to fill up a bathtub with bleach and you're going to get in it, okay? It's a different kind of therapy we're working towards. I would do it differently. Back to fuck, marry, kill. I would fuck Warren Beatty just to see what all the fuss is about. I would marry Dave Coulier just so that I could be the funniest, most successful person in the marriage. And then I would kill Eric Clapton so that I could get one step closer to being the best guitar player in the world.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I hope you guys can't hear my stupid dogs barking. When I said we have to do fuck, marry, kill in the end, I was going to ask you which of the three women you would fuck, marry, kill, but I'm glad you went with the three men. You would fuck, marry, kill.
I would fuck Carly Simon, and I would do it for two reasons. One, to impress my dad, and two, I would be horrible about it afterwards because I would insist. I would she would never do it, but I would insist that she like list every man that she slept with, and then like give me like the ultimate rankings.
Right.
Like, where am I? Top 10? Top 20? Come on. You don't have to worry about my feelings, Carly. Like, where is it? Where in there?
You ought to know. Fuck Carly.
You ought to know. Oh, but that's okay. Oh, man. Because I was also thinking like it would be like, of all the relationships that are described in these three songs, the guy that I most want to be is the man after Alanis Morissette's lover and You Oughta Know.
Right.
I would like to be with Alanis Morissette while she's trying to scratch her nails down my back in hopes that Dave Coulier feels it. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
But I guess I can't because I just picked Carly Simon. So I think I'm going to have to kill Alanis Morissette, and I'm sorry about that. But I think that I am. And I guess I'm just going to offer up as my reason for that is that she hasn't really come up with anything better than Jagged Little Pill. So I guess she's past her peak. And then I would definitely marry Sheryl Crow for sure.
She's so pretty.
Happily. I was kind of struck by like I was kind of playing the fuck, marry, kill game in my head, and I was struck by like how alike Carly Simon, Alanis Morissette, and Sheryl Crow look.
Oh, yeah.
Like they just like it must be something about like to have those great big voices. They also have to have the like the great big mouths, the big smiling faces, the cheekbones that come from singing all the time.
Yeah, pretty brunettes with like big smiles. Yeah, you're right. And apparently
Mm-hmm.
some
Pretty brunettes with big smiles. Yeah.
there was conversations between I think it was between Carly Simon and Alanis Morissette where Carly told her, you need to say who this was about. You're going to be hounded about it forever.
For literally the rest of your life.
Yeah. All right. Well, this week's Dressed Up Like a Douche comes from me, Dianne. The song Kokomo by the Beach Boys was on the other day. And I didn't learn until like I think last year when he says we'll be falling in love to the rhythm of the steel drum band. You know the song, right? We'll be falling in love to the rhythm of
the steel drum band.
I thought he said ceiling fan. Which made sense to me. That thing's always just like like whirling around above you when you're having sex, right? In love
your ceiling
noise.
Your ceiling fan knows all your dirty secrets.
Well, I think about like I've been to the Virgin Islands a few times, and you're in these rooms and they don't have central air conditioning in there, and it's a nice climate, so you have the windows open and you have a ceiling fan going, and that's what he's talking about in Kokomo. They're like Bermuda, Bahama, all these like tropical places. Not that's what I understood it as, and then I realized it was steel drum band, and I felt that.
To the rhythms of a steel drum band. We're gonna have to do the Beach Boys at some point.
For sure. Okay, Ben, do you have a guilty pleasure song?
Do I have a guilty pleasure tune? Yes, I do.
Guilty pleasures.
It's Mike and the Mechanics' song "In the Living Years," which is kind of like it's a treacly 80s emotional, I don't know, like a power pop ballad, but it's always struck me as just like kind of needlessly sad. It's like it's a weird, that song, like I heard that song when I was like probably like 5 or 6 years old, and it's always kind of like stuck with me. I don't like it. I don't like the way that it makes me feel. I don't like the emotions that it forces me to go through, and I don't like it because of like the inevitable nature of them. And I get really, really irritated when I hear that song. It's like, this was forced on me when I was 5 fucking years old. There's no reason why I should have been thinking about this when I was that age. And in a way, I guess maybe with a little help, I might become more grateful about it, but I'm not right now.
Say it loud. Oh, say
it loud. Say it clear.
Yeah, the closer you get to like
do you have a guilty pleasure song?
Oh, sorry, our delay is so bad. Yes, I do. And mine is ridiculous as usual. Do you remember, it's another just like last week, it has a dance that goes with it. When Charlie was a baby, I'd wear him in one of those baby wraps. And the song was really popular at the time, and I would do the dance that went with the song, and it made Charlie really happy. And it's wobble baby, wobble baby, wobble baby, wobble, wobble baby. The singer of the song, it says Vic, but it's like got a period, so I don't know what Vic stands for, V.I.C. But anyway, it just reminded me of sweet times with my super little fat chunky baby who I had to wear because he was too heavy to carry. And I put on YouTube and I learned the dance. And so I would do the dance along with the YouTube people, and Charlie would just have this big smile on his face. He loved it. So I ended up just
Guilty pleasures.
All right.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, it was. It was a long one, which, that's fine. It was 3 songs. We should give them all some allotted time.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you listening.
Well, hold on. I got 3 Patreon songs to be voted on for next Thursday's episode. This is exciting.
Ooh.
Because I've already put the vote out there on Patreon. They're already starting to vote, but it's 3 songs by The Clash. And so going to be Rock the Casbah, which we are named after, London Calling, or Should I Stay or Should I Go? And that is what they are voting on for you guys to hear next week. Any thoughts on that?
I don't. I'm good with any of those.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I am fine with all of them. Go ahead and bring it. I'm ready to talk about Joe Strummer.
oh, right. Me too.
I bet you think this podcast is about you, don't you? Don't you? Vogue.
Vogue. Special thank you to Chuck Savage and Eddie Hawkins for our amazing intro music, and to Sara Wessling, as always, for the Guilty Pleasures vocals. If you would like to support the podcast, you can join our Patreon for $5 a month at patreon.com/rockthecashbar. That $5 will get you some cool swag and the chance to vote on all Thursday, or sorry, I have to reword this, every other Thursday songs, now that we're going back to one a week. We have a Spotify playlist of all the songs we cover, including the Guilty Pleasure songs. It's searchable on Spotify, or you can find the direct link on our website, rockthecashbarpodcast.com. Thank you for tuning in. New episodes every Thursday. If you have a misheard song lyric you'd like us to read on the podcast, please just reach out to us. However you listen to us, however you respond to us on social media, just let us know. And you can tattle on a friend. It doesn't have to be yours. You don't have to be embarrassed. You can lie. Anyway, find us on all the things. Let us know. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you next Thursday.
1, 2, 3.